Welcome back, everyone. I'm super excited to have Beau Engman of Pace Equity here with me today. Beau is the founder and president of the firm, and Pace Equity is one of the foremost capital providers in the CPACE financing space. A couple weeks ago, it was announced that Aquarian Holdings acquired a majority stake in Pace Equity and that they would be providing up to $1 billion to support Pace Equity's CPACE projects. So, Beau, thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here.
Awesome. I was hoping you could
Yeah.
start by just sort of explaining how this partnership came to be.
Well, I guess just going backwards, you know, we I've been involved in the PACE space since the beginning. And so what happened over time is our company, we've been putting PACE assets on our balance sheet. We had some success, demonstrated, nice profitability, but as you grow, the numbers get bigger and bigger. And so it was a couple of years ago, as a board, we decided we needed to get a larger balance sheet partner. And so we started a process with an investment banker and started looking, for that partner. And so it took actually 2 years to do that. There was a tough time in the financial markets, banking crisis, where everything stopped for a while, and we had to pick up and go on. But in the end, Aquarian had, looks like a nice, a perfect partner in the sense that there's a real strong willingness to grow. They own other insurance companies. There's a great, alignment there. And and it just seems like culturally our businesses are both kind of poised for the growth, and there's a, kind of a mutual interest in doing that. And so from that perspective, it seems like, it's a great partner, but that's how it really came to be, you know, um, to grow together.
Awesome. Yeah. So it sounds like macroeconomically and then culturally, everything really lined up. We've also seen, obviously, on our end, demand for CPACE just skyrocket over the past couple of years. I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing. So, how do you feel like this investment will help Pace Equity meet that demand?
Well, right. Yeah. The demand as an industry has been growing pretty quickly. Our business has grown very dramatically, and it's difficult. So remember, we used to be the before the transaction, we consider ourselves the largest independent, you know, CPACE provider, and that meant we were um, holding everything on our own balance sheet. And as you grow and these numbers get bigger, it gets more difficult, and so there's a lot of stress. And so, so frankly, this takes all the stress out. So,
That's
which is
great.
nice. So we can do large assets. There's a much larger access to capital. And if money's our product, which is what CPACE is, it just takes that whole element out of it. Um, and so it's much more about, managing resources. It's more about, how you put capital to work, in a much bigger scale. So it's just a different way of looking at it. And so this allows us to do it a lot easier than the past, just to really meet the growth objectives we have.
Very good. So, do you expect that this will allow you guys to do larger projects? Is it really about size and scale, or is it also about types of projects that you'll attract now?
All the above.
Mhm.
So I would say in the past we focused mostly on development projects, new construction and major renovation, because that tied in very well with our low carbon, Cirrus low carbon product,
Mhm.
and where we have a competitive advantage. But now with this increased scale, we're going to be able to do any, very large projects, and already we're doing very large projects, and that they were more difficult to do in the past. And then also hitting other parts of the C-PACE market, for example, more more straight up on the financing side, not just dependent upon the, new development in low carbon pieces. So anyway, but yeah, so it'll expand our market dramatically from just a size and market segment perspective.
Very good. So, obviously, CPACE is often used to help finance construction loans. When the money from this investment is used in that way, do you foresee the funding rolling over into more permanent financing or just being kept on sort of that construction shorter term basis?
Well, we've been doing CPACE financing for construction for a long time. In fact, we innovated using CPACE for new construction. We did the first new construction project leveraging CPACE. And I would say it's a very strong value proposition. You put PACE in the capital stack, it boosts your investors' return on investment materially. So it's a nice, simple to understand, value proposition with a compelling event. They got to get that building out of the ground. So from a just a sales perspective, it's very nice.
Mhm.
And we've been doing it for a long time, and people have been using it for permanent financing. People would be surprised how few of these have actually prepaid when construction's done. So now that again a large portfolio of new construction projects, and very few of them prepay right away. So yes, it's definitely evolved into permanent financing.
Yeah, I love how flexible CPACE is. That's one of my favorite aspects
Yeah.
about it. Um, and in terms of like asset type, do you foresee, I mean, I'm sure that there's lots of different factors that propel demand in one way or the other, but do you foresee this funding being more popular with any particular asset segment?
Well, we heavily, you know, operate within the securitized world, and so you want diversity.
Mm.
So I would say no. We need to. We're always fighting for more and more diversity in our asset types to allow us to do there'll be one special one come around that might be tougher to do, but you have to have a larger portfolio of really diverse assets to be able to do that. So no, I would say we're focused on diversity of assets, not any one particular type.
Good, very good. So this is the second sort of similar, infusion or partnership announcement that we've seen in the CPACE world over the last few weeks. Nuveen Green Capital and CDPQ have joined together for a CPACE financing program that was announced earlier this month. I'm curious what you think this kind of emergence of these large scale investments mean about CPACE as a mainstream financing tool? Do you feel like it's being more broadly accepted in the greater, financing environment?
Well, okay. So first off, we're just a teeny bit of our addressable market. So if you think
Mhm.
about the market for energy efficiency finance or um, new construction development or major renovation, the adoption of PACE within those markets is just tiny. So that's why you see when you have good markets, bad markets, the commercial PACE world is still growing very well. And that's so, and absolutely the while CPACE is very small relative to its potential, it is growing very rapidly, and it's a very attractive market. You're getting nice risk-adjusted returns from an investor perspective. What's also interesting about CPACE, there's a very high, you know, barrier to entry, which people I don't think fully understood. So, for example, in our business, we operate in 74 different PACE programs, and each one is different. Way you amortize a note, how you bill for it, how you collect money for it. It's like really complex. So it's hard for a large player in this attractive financial market to come in and just play, on their own and build something from scratch. Um, so I think that's why you see there's investment coming in and really very few new entrants as well. So in fact, there's consolidation, if anything, even though it's a still small market. So
Hmm.
it's very interesting. What we see is a small number of competitors in a very rapidly growing market, which actually it's kind of a strange dynamic, but makes it pretty interesting.
I was gonna say that seems like a good place to be if you're one of those
It is. It
competitors.
is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So we
So
love that complexity, honestly.
yeah, definitely. So I mean, obviously you and I both know how big of an impact the commercial real estate industry has on the environment, being a huge emitter of carbon. Um, this expansion that we're seeing of CPACE financing, whether it's through investments and partnerships like these, or just more developers sort of understanding the program and trying to adopt it into their capital stack, how impactful do you think that will be on just improving sustainability in commercial real estate overall?
Okay, so I'm a little bit of a cynic, and we
I
we
love that.
believe
We love a
we
sip.
believe we believe heavily in impact.
Mhm.
And so let me just give you the impact side first and then the cynicism second. But so we have a product called Cirrus Low Carbon, which has a specification developed, which is about, let's say, 10% more effective, more efficient than the highest building code in the country. And we offer lower price, PACE financing for that. It gets funded through impact investors in a public offering. I'm kind of giving it all very fast.
Mhm.
But the fact is, We have done a little over 100 million of that, but that every single builder or developer who shows up and gets that product, they have to actually change their design to hit that spec.
Mhm.
And that sounds, wow, that's not very scalable. That sounds complicated, but that's actually what impact is. You're changing behavior.
Mhm.
So, and it's exciting, and we want to do lot more of that. So if you think about what is impact, impact is changing behaviors to improve the environment. And so that's what that program does for us. That Cirrus Low Carbon actually changes behaviors. Now, what we have become is masters of hitting that spec at the lowest incremental cost. The average benefit to cost ratio is $12 of benefit for every $1 of cost. So, like anything, you become experts in trying to hit that program. And so that's how we have impact. We are the only ones doing that in the real estate finance industry broadly. Forget CPACE. And it's exciting. It's something that motivates our whole company to kind of for the engagement and all that. And it does follow common sense. These are not hard. It's not boiling the ocean type things. It's
Mhm.
simple things. It's providing leadership to hit this lower carbon buildings at the lowest incremental cost. And then now that being said, CPACE broadly, I don't think is living up to the promise it had in terms of sustainability. So I'd say as an industry, we're enablers of the status quo all the time. We might flash some nice numbers in terms of impact we're having, but the truth is we're rationalizing the status quo a lot. And so
Mhm.
that's why we felt like this low carbon program is so important. So we would love everybody to be adopting, that program.
So the Cirrus program really pushes beyond what is required or, to go a certain amount above code. You're saying that there needs to be more of that in order for CPACE to really live up to its full potential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there's opportunities to use just common sense, not, that doesn't drive up cost. And we're proving it. Our average cost to hit Cirrus is 0.2% of the construction budget. It's
Mhm.
nothing. So it can be costless if you get involved in the design process.
Mhm.
Um, so yes, we're out there and I think we've proven the fact that you can have more sustainable buildings and increase your ROI, not lower your ROI. So, so that's what our belief is. So,
Well, I love to see that you guys are moving the needle, and it sounds like we need to have another conversation about the Cirrus program and how all of that works.
yes, that'd be exciting.
That's very great. So back to the partnership that you guys have with Aquarian. If a property owner is interested in tapping into that new funding, what is the first step that they should take?
Just come to our website and register, and they'll get connected with one of our folks around the country.
Very good. Awesome. Well, Beau, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I really appreciate your time and your
Yeah,
expertise.
thank you.
So, guys, we're going to have Beau's email at the end of this video, and you guys can reach out if you have any questions. And as always, if you have any questions for Lone Star Pace, definitely feel free to reach out to us as well. Thanks, Beau.
Thank you.